Hey guys, Jonathan here. Well, by the time you're seeing this video, you probably have already seen that the Dune Ornithopter Lego set has been revealed, and I was fortunate enough to be at the actual reveal at LEGO headquarters just a couple weeks ago. Now, it's been really hard to sit on this information, but I was able to actually film the full reveal so you could see it exactly the way that we saw it when it was revealed. So, without further ado, let's step into LEGO headquarters, and here's what it was like to see the LEGO Dune Ornithopter revealed for the first time. Hope you guys enjoy it.
The last time I did Fan Media Days, we were in Idea House, and it was like very cozy, so this is a little bit intimidating for me. My name is Mike. I'm a model designer at LEGO. I know some of you. And am I supposed to say what I'm showing first, or take this off first? I don't know how this works. What did other people do? Okay, so I'm going to show you something I've been working on for 2 years. And then we'll talk a little bit about it. I'll tell you what it is. I hope you can recognize it. This is Dune. Nice, good. I'm glad some of you know what it is. This is a Dune Ornithopter. Not based on the original 1984 movie. I'm sorry for those of you that were excited for that, but this is based on the 2021, what we see in the 2021 movie. Which we're very much looking forward to the sequel that's coming out in a few months' time. And we've been working really closely with the studio to develop this model. I'm just going to show you a little bit of what we've included here. So we have a cast of characters. I would rather you guys try to name them than me, because I think that's way more fun. And hopefully we did a good job. Does anyone know who this is? If you can look closely. Dr. Kynes, we have Duke Leto Atreides, Lady Jessica, Paul Atreides, Gurney Halleck, Chani, and then Duncan Idaho. And then this was our original cast of characters, and the whole time we were developing the model, we just kept talking about wouldn't it be so cool to include the Baron. So, of course, we've also included the Baron Harkonnen. He probably doesn't need to be with an ornithopter, but you really need the Baron when you start talking about Dune. So, I think it's a great cast of characters, but then we also have this model. This is a little bit different than anything I've worked on before. It's very high on the functionality. We actually started making this model working on the functions. Right after we saw the movie for the first time, a group of other designers and I, back in September of 2020, we were like, I wonder if we could make one of those ornithopters in Lego bricks. That's actually my favorite part of the whole Dune universe, is the ornithopters. And I remember reading the book just wondering, what do these things look like? And the way that they were executed in the movie, I just think is incredible. So we were trying to be as faithful to what we saw in the movie as we could. So we have the wings that can deploy by flipping this lever here. And then you can lift it up, and there's actually this button on the back, and you can but for me, the coolest feature of all is actually the landing legs. So there's a knob here, so as you turn this, they all fold up together, and then it can go flying around. And then my favorite thing to do is, if anyone remembers the movie, there's a scene where Leto flies out to observe the spice harvesting for the first time, and they realize that the crew of the spice harvester needs to be saved. So they're trying to figure out what to do, and they go into this dive. So he pulls all the wings in and goes into this dive, and then swoops out of it right by the ground. And we've been playing with this thing so much. It's really, really fun to play with. And I'm not going to embarrass myself with making my swooshing sounds, but maybe you'll catch me doing that later. So then, because the function kind of takes up so much of the interior, we haven't been able to recreate the entire interior of the vehicle, but you can open up the front cockpit on either side, and then we have this little tray that you can take out here, and then you can take just 2 characters and put them in. So the scale of the model is roughly 1 to 35, I would say, something like that. It's a little bit hard to say, because when for the movie, they made real-life props that they would use for shooting, but then all of the wings are added digitally, and even sections of the tail are added digitally. So what is real and what is digital in the movie is very hard to discern where that split happens. And so we're kind of basing our model both on the physical props that they built for the movie, but then also on a lot of digital reference that they gave us. So 135 is not don't write that in stone or anything, but it's pretty close, and I think it looks pretty good with minifigures in it. So we also, for this model, we developed 2 new elements. So this new blade piece, this was the driving force not driving force, but like the thing that drove the whole size of the model. We were originally just playing around with like, okay, let's make this ornithopter, and I said, I'm gonna need a really big wing, and I asked our engineers, like, how big of a wing can you make? And they said, how big of a wing do you want? So it's like this, back and forth. So I said 40 modules, and they said, okay, they can do that. Which then I felt like I should have asked for bigger, but in the end, 40 modules is a super challenging wing to make. It's a little bit different than the wings that you see in like, or the rotor blades that you see in a Technic helicopter. So this is just a single molded material because we want it to be super light. Because this function is like taking so much energy, so much force, and we didn't want it to be too crazy. So yeah, it's a slightly different design, and I know it probably looks very similar, but so that's about 8 modules longer than what you see on the big Technic helicopters. And then we also developed a new cockpit piece here for the front. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out, the front is kind of like the face of the ornithopter. If you imagine it based on a dragonfly, then this is like the head, and we thought we really want to get all the details in this section right. And we, not only do we want to get it to look right, but we want it to be great to build and great to play with. So we decided we needed a new element to achieve that, to have the right stability and also the right shapes. So we made this new cockpit piece. I hope it will remind you of the original Jedi Starfighter cockpit from like 2002, I guess. I love that piece so much. But it had like a bubble top. This one is still test molded element, so you see some weird sink marks and stuff. But the final one should be really good. Yeah, and we're taking advantage of our new, I don't know the name of it. Does anyone know the official name of it? Trans Black. And that was actually being developed while we were developing this model, and I was a little bit internally, and I know I should say this, but I was a little bit opposed to making the new Trans Black. I thought the one that we have is pretty good. And then the studio showed me references of this vehicle, and they were showing me the glass color, and I was like, oh shoot, that's exactly the new Trans Black color that we're making. So I'm actually quite happy with how it works on this model.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mike.